When I was 16 years old, I loved Texas so much that I moved back without my parents. And now I'm in Oregon telling Texans they might want to consider doing the same thing I did. So let me explain how this happened. I'm Diana. I grew up in Arlington, Texas. My parents moved us there when I was 3 years old, and we lived in the same house until I was 15. Big family, 6 kids. I'm number five. My little sister Aubrey is 2 years younger than me, almost to the day, and she followed me everywhere. She was literally my shadow. I mean, everywhere. We rode our bikes all over the neighborhood. My mom had this rule. She's like, you have to stay inside the square. So Fielder, Park Row, Bowen, and Norwood were our borders, and that was our entire world. So we figured out that there's this Phillips 66 on Park Row, and we could take our bikes up this road, and there was a stairway that took us up the back, and we would go up there and buy candy and something to drink, and we seriously felt like we'd accomplished or done this like childhood unlock. That was like the total peak of our childhood freedom right there. I played softball, I played cello, I was in drama, I had friends that I loved that I'd known since kindergarten, and I absolutely had no reason to think that there was anything out there that was better than what I had. Texas was it for me. But here's the thing. I was actually born in the Pacific Northwest. I was born in Renton, Washington, which is just outside of Seattle. My mom's family goes back generations after generations in Eastern Washington and Spokane. And when I was about 10, my mom's mom, my grandma, moved from Fort Worth to Portland to be closer to my mom's siblings, my aunt and uncle out here. So when I was 15, my parents decided that they wanted to be closer to family up here and be out of Texas. And my mom took a job in the summer before my freshman year of high school. We moved to Portland. We left Texas. And I remember landing in Oregon, and it was August, the middle of summer, stepping outside and literally being cold. Like I was in a sweatshirt. We were going to the pool across the street at Wilson High School, and my neighbor friends were acting like there was nothing wrong swimming in this 75-degree weather. And I'm standing here thinking, how the heck are y'all living like this? It's freezing. I did not really do well with the move. I missed everything about Texas. I missed my friends. I missed my school. I missed my life. So when I was a sophomore, 16 years old, my parents let me move back to Texas, and I lived with my aunt and uncle for a little while. I lasted about 6 months, and then my mom pulled me back to Portland. So yeah, I have loved Texas my entire life, and I just want y'all to know that going in. Eventually, Portland became home. Like I grew into it. And as an adult living there, I met my husband, Ryan. He's a Marine once and always. He works in aviation. He loves technology. He loves building systems. A man will eat anything I put in front of him, which is honestly the best way to show up in a marriage. And when we'd been together just 6 weeks, he left for a civilian deployment in Afghanistan. And when he got back, 6 months later, he told me that he was going to be moving to Houston for a business opportunity. And I said, I grew up in Texas, in Arlington, and I know I'm just going to love Houston. Take me with you. Well, I was wrong. Houston is a lot of things, but it's not Arlington. The culture was a lot harder. The people are more guarded. I showed up to my job with tattoos, and I was told, well, that's not going to work. I was expected to wear lipstick and heels every day. The easy, like, live and let live culture that I had grown to love in Portland, that wasn't Houston. We really tried to make it work. We stayed 4.5 years. We lived all over. We moved 6 times being in property management, and then Hurricane Harvey flooded our home, and we lost everything. We spent 4 months with friends as not especially welcomed house guests while we were trying to figure out what's next. And honestly, like that was enough. So we left. We went back to Oregon. Ryan got a job in Pendleton. 10 days on, 5 days off. So we got a townhouse in Portland, which was near my parents' house. And it was close enough that I could walk our dog barbecue like 3 miles a day through the West Hills. Every morning I drove Uber. I spent time with my family and my friends. And eventually I found out I was pregnant after 8 months of trying. And then we bought our first home in Pendleton. And 6 months after we had closed on our house, Ryan was laid off. So some of our friends in Houston had moved to Dallas and they offered him a job there. So back to Texas we went, this time to Aubrey up in the northern part of the metroplex. And this stretch was probably the hardest of my entire life. As soon as we got there, the pandemic hit. And in the middle of all that, my health failed, like in a serious way. I spent 3 weeks in the hospital. I was alone because during the pandemic, you couldn't have visitors. We had this baby at home. Ryan was doing everything himself, and I was in the hospital bed by myself, and it was super hard. Like I'm still processing a lot of that, if I'm going to be completely honest. But we got through it, and I did what I always do. I put roots down. I got my real estate license. I helped run a sisterhood group in the neighborhood that we lived in. I joined the HOA board of directors. I made some real friends. I thought maybe we could build something there, but Ryan never felt that way. He hated it. 11 miles to work. It took 45 minutes each way every single day. There was nowhere to go mountain biking. He was stressed out, and honestly, he was like pretty miserable, and I could see it. No matter how much I tried to kind of make it work around the edges. So every summer we'd come home to Oregon, and in July of 2023, we came back for my mom's 70th birthday party. And some of the friends that we had made in Pendleton had moved to Redmond, and they were raising their kids there. We spent time with them, we drove around, and we felt something settle in us that we hadn't felt settled in a long time. And we made the decision on that trip that 3 years or less, we're coming back. That was the plan. Then we lost a friend. It was a terrible traffic accident, just gone. That same day, I was driving on DNT, Dallas North Tollway, talking to my broker on the phone, and I came within a breath of a terrible accident myself. So that pretty much shook us up bad. Like we were so shaken, like it's hard to put into words. And that night we sat down together and we wrote a manifestation statement. We read it every night before we went to sleep. And I'll share a little bit of it. It's kind of long, but here's a little part of it. We envision ourselves embraced by the majestic beauty of Oregon's landscape. Our home is nestled in a neighborhood we adore. Our family flourishes and grows, bound together by love and shared dreams. Every single night, we're decided. Within 6 weeks, Ryan had a job offer in Hood River, 30% pay cut. I'd walk away from a growing real estate business. We didn't care. Like we were just going to figure it out. And then something like totally unexpected happened. Ryan's employer told them that they couldn't let him go. He was way too valuable. And so they offered him the ability to work remote. We chose Redmond because the home prices made sense. The schools were rated well, and we love the Central Oregon climate, and we already had friends here. So we started our manifestation in February. We were watching the 4th of July parade in Redmond by summer. That fast. I have to be honest about this part because I don't think that it gets talked about enough. Leaving Texas is not just like a logistical decision. It's a social one. And it costs something. When we left DFW, we lost friends. We had a family that we were like genuinely close to. Our kids were the same age. We do pool days together, we barbecued, we'd have birthday parties. And when we told them that we were leaving Texas, they just quit talking to us. Like, no conversation, no going away party, no let's stay in touch. It was like just silence. And it hurt. Like, it hurt way more than I expected it to. My Texas family, my aunts and uncles and cousins who were there for us during those super hard years, they loved us like some of their own. I felt really guilty for leaving them. They were gracious about it. They really were. They still are, but I felt it. I'm not telling you this to scare you, but I'm telling you this because if you are thinking about this kind of move, you deserve to know the whole picture, not just the pretty parts. My son is 7. He's in the 1st grade. He rides the bus, which stops right in front of our house, and I am unreasonably proud about this fact. He plays baseball and basketball. He builds his own Lego Transformers completely from scratch. He's just like a genuinely happy kid. My mornings start getting him on the bus, then yoga at Lovebird, downtown Redmond, a few times a week. Wednesdays, I'm on broker tour with the other local agents. Friday mornings, pickleball with my sisterhood group. Afternoons are clients, showings, building my business. Our evenings are filled with baseball games, book clubs, happy hour with the Sisterhood of Redmond, Oregon. It's a Facebook community that I started and I run. We have over 1,800 women in the area. Or sometimes we just sit around and eat dinner together and watch an hour or two of TV. There's no traffic. Most of the roads in Redmond don't even go over 35 miles an hour for a speed limit. Everything in town is 7 minutes away. And when we want to go to the woods or a river or a lake, it's 30 minutes. In our area of DFW, going to the grocery store took 30 minutes. So I know what it feels like to be a Texan who quietly wonders if there's something different out there. I also know what it feels like to be afraid to say that out loud because your people are there and you don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want to sound ungrateful for your good life. I left Texas 4 times. The first 2 times I did not have a choice. The last 2 I did. And this last one, this is the one that finally stuck. This channel is for the person doing late night research. Quietly, not ready to tell anyone yet. Just trying to figure out if a life like this is actually possible. That's you. You're in the right place. I want you to know you don't have to figure this out alone. I am a real estate broker here in Central Oregon, and I grew up understanding what it means to leave something you love for something that might be better. When you're ready to actually talk about what that looks like for you and your family, I'm here for that conversation. Until then, just stick around. I'll show you what life is like here, what it actually looks like, the real version, not the highlight reel. I'm Diana. Welcome to Texagonian.